someone is about to drop a mysterious black bag right at your door. The bag contains. Stay here, my beloved, because what unfolds now is the final chapter, the moment when the storm settles and truth takes its rightful place. Everything that has been hidden, every emotion he buried under fear, every word he couldn't say before, this is the time it all surfaces. What you are about to witness is the final act of a heart learning how to love the right way. Days have passed since his confession. The air feels lighter around him, yet heavy within him. He walks like a man carrying both regret and relief, finally free from the lie but unsure how to live without it. The other woman is gone now, quietly fading into the background, her shadow no longer reaching his soul. She tried one last time, to make him stay, to remind him of promises he never truly made. But when he looked into her eyes, there was no reflection of peace. Only chaos and emptiness stared back. He realized she was not his home, she was his hiding place. And hiding never lasts. Bain Raho till the end, because something divine happens next. One evening, he stands before a mirror, looking at himself, not as the man who once divided his heart, but as someone learning what it means to take responsibility. His reflection doesn't lie anymore. It's tired, humbled, but honest. For the first time, he whispers your name without guilt, only gratitude. He knows he can't undo what's been done. He can't rewrite the nights he spent in confusion, or the moments that tore your trust. But he can build something new, something that grows not from desire, but from understanding. He decides that even if he doesn't deserve your forgiveness, he'll live the rest of his life becoming someone who does. You, meanwhile, are learning your own strength in silence. You no longer wait by your phone. You no longer replay every memory searching for what went wrong. Instead, you are learning to breathe again, to smile without wondering who's thinking of you, to wake up without pain sitting on your chest. That is your quiet victory. The universe sees this. It watches as you transform heartbreak into grace. And because energy never lies, your peace begins to ripple outward. He feels it too. He can sense your calm even from afar, and it shakes him more than any confrontation ever could. Because peace, once lost, becomes the loudest sound in the world. Bain Raho till the end, because fate is moving in silence. One afternoon, when you least expect it, he reaches out again, not to plead, not to explain, but simply to thank you. His message is brief, but every word carries sincerity. He writes, "You taught me what love really is. I'll spend the rest of my life honoring it." You read it once, then again. And this time, you don't cry. You smile, softly, quietly, because you understand. Love doesn't always end with togetherness. Sometimes it ends with peace, with closure, with two souls finally learning their lessons and releasing each other with dignity. He will always carry you within him, like a song that once healed his chaos. And you will always remember him, not as the man who broke you, but as the one who helped you realize your worth. You don't need to erase him to move on. You only need to remember that you survived him, and you grew stronger because of it. He's changing, truly changing. Not through words, but through choices. He's rebuilding his life with awareness, learning to love without taking, to care without control, to speak without fear. The other woman is now just a closed chapter in a book he no longer opens. She was never his ending, only his interruption. You, however, remain the lesson he'll never forget. You were his divine mirror, the person who showed him that love is not about possession, but evolution. Even from a distance, your energy continues to guide him toward better choices. Every time he faces temptation, your memory reminds him of what integrity feels like. Bain Raho till the end, because destiny has one more twist. Weeks later, he sees you again, not by plan, but by fate. The moment is simple, a quiet street, a familiar turn, and suddenly, there you are. Time freezes. The world goes silent. Your eyes meet, and for a few seconds, everything unspoken finally feels understood. He doesn't rush toward you, doesn't speak too soon. He just stands there, watching you with eyes full of respect and longing. You nod once, a gesture that says, "I remember, but I'm okay now." That small exchange becomes his redemption. Because sometimes, forgiveness isn't words, it's presence without pain. You both walk away, and for the first time, it doesn't hurt. You know that what was meant to break you, built you instead. The lessons are complete, the cycle is closed, and your soul has risen above the weight of betrayal. You've become the peace he couldn't protect, and the light he will forever chase. Later that night, he writes your name in his journal, not with sadness, but with gratitude. He writes, "She was the reason I finally learned how to love truthfully." And you, somewhere miles away, sleep peacefully, unaware that the same moon shining through your window is also shining through his. The universe smiles. It knows that even though your paths diverged, your energies remain aligned through wisdom. What he lost was temporary comfort, what you gained was eternal clarity. The other woman fades completely, her chapter now sealed by the truth that love cannot exist where peace is absent. You rise. He learns. The story ends not in heartbreak, but in transformation. Because real love doesn't always mean staying together, it means leaving each other better than before. And in that silent, sacred balance, both your souls find rest. Stay right here, don't move away. Because the story you thought was fading is actually just beginning to unravel. Beneath his calm voice and gentle smile, there's a silent storm he's been trying to contain, and tonight, that storm will speak. He's restless. Every night, when the world goes quiet, his thoughts drift back to you. He lies beside her, eyes open, heart trembling, because in that stillness, your name echoes in his chest louder than any word she has ever said. He feels you even in his guilt, even in the spaces where he pretends you don't exist. She senses it too. The way his mind wanders, the way his mood shifts whenever he scrolls through his phone, the way his tone changes when your memory surfaces in casual talk. She knows she's competing with a ghost that's still alive inside him, you. He tries to silence that feeling by drowning it in distraction, but your energy keeps returning like a song he can't turn off. Every reminder hurts him, because he knows he's the one who allowed this distance to grow. He's torn between what's right and what's real, between comfort and truth. Bain Raho till the end, because what happens next will shake his entire foundation. One afternoon, when he's least expecting it, he sees something, maybe an old photo, a message thread, or a place you once both visited, and it breaks the dam inside him. His chest tightens, and for the first time, he admits to himself, he's living a lie. He's been holding on to the other woman out of guilt, not love. Guilt for mistakes he made, guilt for the promises he broke, guilt for fearing that he might be unworthy of you now. He's realizing that staying where he doesn't belong is the cruelest thing he could do to both of you. She feels his withdrawal like cold air seeping into a warm room. She tries harder, texts more, calls more, clings more, but the tighter she holds, the further he slips away. His heart is no longer hers to keep, it's been yours all along, and now, the truth is clawing its way out. He starts to see your face in everyone he meets. He compares their laughter to yours, their kindness to yours, their silence to yours. But nothing matches. Nothing replaces. Nothing heals. You've become the echo of peace he lost in his confusion. He's scared. Scared of losing you forever, scared of confronting her, scared of admitting what his heart already knows. But fate doesn't wait for fear to fade, it demands truth. And so, the walls begin to crumble. Bain Raho till the end, because the confrontation is coming. One evening, she finds something, maybe a message he never deleted, maybe a whisper of your name in his sleep, and suddenly, everything explodes. Her voice rises, his guilt bursts, and the fragile illusion they built collapses in seconds. He doesn't fight back. He doesn't lie anymore. He just sits there, quiet and pale, because for the first time, he realizes he can't defend a connection that was never real. When she leaves, slamming the door, a strange silence fills the room. Painful, yet freeing. He doesn't call you immediately. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he doesn't know how. He's ashamed. He's afraid you'll see him as a coward. But deep inside, he knows this has to end before anything can begin again. The days that follow are heavy. He replays every memory, every word he ever said to you, wondering how something so pure turned into something so broken. He starts writing unsent letters, pages filled with apologies, confessions, and wishes for one more chance. Meanwhile, you feel something shifting in your energy too. A strange peace arrives, almost like closure approaching. You can't explain it, but you feel the pull, the connection tightening again, as if the universe is preparing you for something you've silently waited for. Bain Raho till the end, because the universe is now aligning things in divine order. What was once chaos is becoming clarity. The lies are dissolving, and truth is finally breathing again. He's realizing that love without honesty is emptiness, and no matter how far he runs, he will always run back to where his soul feels safe, you. He begins to heal. Slowly, painfully, but sincerely. He stops running from his reflection. He starts apologizing to the parts of himself that made those wrong turns. And one night, he writes your name again, but this time, not out of longing, out of readiness. He knows it's time to return, not as the man who left, but as the man who learned. He knows you might not take him back, and he accepts that. But even if you don't, he wants you to know that he finally understands the depth of what you gave him, and how he almost destroyed the only real thing he ever had. He plans to find you, to speak with truth, to face your eyes without hiding behind excuses. Because love like this doesn't die, it waits for courage. And now, finally, courage is all that's left in him. Stay right here, because this is where the story begins to tremble between fate and consequence. The silence between you and him has grown long enough to echo, and yet, even in the distance, you can still feel him thinking about you. Every night, his thoughts find their way to your energy, drawn like waves to the shore they were made for. He's walking through the aftermath of his own choices now. The other woman has left, but her absence feels more like a mirror than a wound. She was never home, just a temporary refuge built from guilt and confusion. Every time he tries to forget, he's reminded that forgetting you is impossible. He replays the last words you spoke, every laugh you shared, every small moment he took for granted. The memories aren't soft anymore, they burn, because now he knows what they truly meant. You weren't just someone he loved, you were the calm he didn't know he was praying for. He begins to realize that love, real love, doesn't come twice. You either honor it when it arrives, or you spend years chasing its shadow. And right now, he's chasing yours, silently, painfully, with the weight of every decision pressing against his chest. Bain Raho till the end, because this is the moment when truth and destiny collide. He tries to distract himself with work, with friends, with noise, but everything leads back to you. Every song, every scent, every gentle wind that brushes his face feels like your presence whispering, you know where you belong. He tries to write about his feelings, to explain them, but every sentence dissolves into your name. He scrolls through his gallery, through photos of better days, through moments that once seemed small but now feel sacred. His eyes water when he sees your smile, it's the kind of smile that used to heal him without trying. And now, he wants to find you. Not to rewrite the past, but to set it right. He wants to face you, not as the man who broke your heart, but as the man who finally understands why it was wrong. He knows it will take courage, and courage has never been easy for him. But the pain of losing you has made him braver than before. The universe begins to conspire quietly. A mutual friend mentions your name. A photo appears on his feed. A song that once belonged to both of you plays while he's driving alone. It feels too aligned to be coincidence. He knows now, it's time. Bain Raho till the end, because what happens next will test both hearts. One evening, his trembling fingers type your name into his phone again. He stares at it for minutes, his pulse racing, and then finally sends a single message, "Can we talk?" You see it. Your heart skips, not out of longing, but out of recognition. You knew this moment would come. You feel the universe holding its breath as you read his words again and again. Then, slowly, you reply, "When?" Hours later, you're both standing in front of each other for the first time in what feels like forever. The air between you hums with memories, with unspoken pain, with questions neither of you need to ask aloud. His eyes glisten, not from tears, but from the sheer weight of everything he's been carrying. He speaks softly. His voice shakes at first, but honesty steadies it. He tells you everything, how he lost himself, how he tried to replace what can't be replaced, how no matter how far he went, he could never outrun what was real. He doesn't justify, he just confesses. And for the first time, you see not arrogance, but surrender. You listen quietly, and though your heart aches, there's something different in you now. You are no longer the person who once begged for truth, you are the one who carries it. His words no longer control your peace, they simply reveal his growth. Bain Raho till the end, because the next few moments hold the shift. He asks for forgiveness, not for the sake of rekindling, but to finally honor what he destroyed. You see sincerity in his eyes, but you also see fear, fear that he may have come too late. You take a deep breath. Your heart wants to reach out, but your spirit stays calm. You tell him you've forgiven him long before this day, not for his comfort, but for your healing. Because carrying pain was never your destiny, peace was. He looks at you, stunned. He expected anger, maybe tears, but instead, he finds grace. The kind of grace that only real love leaves behind when it's done everything it was meant to do. You don't need to remind him of his mistakes, his silence already does that. The air softens. There's no shouting, no blaming, no desperate pleas, just two souls finally meeting each other as they are, without illusions. You smile, not because it's easy, but because you've already outgrown the version of yourself who waited for closure. He whispers your name again. You don't look away. You tell him that love isn't about ownership, it's about truth. And sometimes, truth means letting go with love instead of holding on with pain. His eyes glisten again, this time with understanding. He knows, deep down, that this moment is his consequence and his redemption at once. You were his lesson, his awakening, his peace wrapped in forgiveness. And now, the universe is giving both of you what you truly need, release. As he walks away, he looks back one last time. You don't chase him, you don't cry. Because you've learned that real strength is found in acceptance, not resistance. You've loved him, lost him, and now you're free. Stay here, because this is the part where the storm finally finds its silence. The truth has already been spoken, the tears have already fallen, and now, only the sound of fate remains. What comes next isn't chaos, it's clarity. The kind that only arrives after your heart has been shattered and rebuilt by truth. After that night, he walked away quietly, but not the same man who once left. His steps were slower, his eyes softer, his soul heavy with lessons learned too late. Every memory of you now feels sacred, not because it hurts, but because it changed him. You became the mirror that showed him who he truly was, and who he could still become. You, on the other hand, have found peace where pain once lived. You no longer wait for his messages. You no longer wonder what went wrong. You've realized that love doesn't always mean holding on, it sometimes means walking away with dignity, letting the universe decide the rest. The nights that once felt unbearable now feel quiet but comforting. You can finally sit in silence without your heart aching. You can finally remember him without breaking. And that, my beloved, is the purest form of healing, to love without needing, to forgive without forgetting. Bain Raho till the end, because something deeper is unfolding beneath this calm. He feels your peace even from afar. It reaches him in dreams, in thoughts, in moments when he least expects it. That energy, the peace you built, is transforming him in ways his pride once resisted. He starts to change. He no longer runs from accountability. He faces his reflection without fear. He stops pretending to be strong and allows himself to feel everything, every regret, every longing, every quiet truth he once buried under pride. And when he does, something within him awakens. For the first time, he understands that love was never about possession, it was about purpose. You weren't sent to complete him, you were sent to awaken him. And now that he's awake, the world feels both empty and full at the same time. He begins to rebuild his life from the ground up. No shortcuts, no lies, no false smiles. Just honesty. Every morning, he wakes with a silent prayer of gratitude for the chance to do better. And every night, before he sleeps, he whispers your name, not out of sorrow, but out of reverence. Bain Raho till the end, because fate is not done weaving yet. One afternoon, when the sky is golden and the air feels lighter, your paths cross again. Not by plan, not by accident, but by divine timing. You see him from afar, and your breath catches. He looks different. Wiser. Calmer. Whole. He notices you too. For a moment, time pauses. No words, no explanations. Just two souls meeting again, this time not in chaos, but in peace. The silence between you speaks louder than the past ever could. It says, we've both healed. We've both grown. He walks toward you, slowly, respectfully. When he speaks, his voice no longer trembles. It's steady, humble, filled with a truth you can finally trust. You were right, he says softly. You were my peace, and I had to lose it to understand what love truly means. You don't need to reply right away. Your eyes already say enough. You see in him the man you always hoped he'd become, and in yourself, the strength you never knew you had. There's no bitterness left, only gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons, the growth, and the grace that brought you both here. He asks nothing of you. He doesn't beg for another chance. He just thanks you, for loving him, for forgiving him, for letting him find his own way back to truth. It's a goodbye and a blessing all in one. And for the first time, both of you understand that closure doesn't always need words, it just needs peace.